On today's video, I'm going to show you 5 portfolios redesign. We're going to see the before and after and also cover the thinking process behind the redesign. You're going to learn a lot. Let's rock and roll. Hey designer friends, what's up? My name is Ron Segal. Welcome back to Flux, and today we're doing website portfolios redesign. Every month on Flux Academy, we challenge our students to do some kind of a project. Today, on this month, we've challenged them to redesign their own portfolio or portfolios of other designers that they like and explain the process to us. In this video, I'm going to show you the top 5 redesigns that I liked, including announcing who's going to be this month's challenge winner and going to win some AirPods Pro. Let's dive into it. So the first redesign here was made by Stephanie. It's actually not her own website. She designed the website of Emmeline Baker. So that's basically her portfolio. She is a designer now. She's working in Google. So that was her original website. Actually, that's still her website. She works in Google. She used to work in Alt School, Brit & Co. So she actually worked on very, very cool project on Block. But the website is actually quite simple, as you might see. Let's see the redesign that Stephanie did. So here's the redesign. Now this looks like, hi, I'm Emmeline. I design experience, making learning easier and fun. Much well-directed, art-directed image, narrowing down her focus into kind of like three main things, showing the logos of the companies she worked with. And then she created kind of like a more interesting compositions about the companies. So definitely looks way more interesting. Let's actually see the breakdown of what was she thinking when she was designing. So here's the before. She mentioned that the top bar, kind of weird for navigation, very small text, lacking a little bit of hierarchy because we have a very big image, and then the type here, nice heading, but there's no call to action here. Not much color in general on this website. In general, not much color, again, quite basic. I will try to keep the minimalist look as we're going. I think some of the images could be a bit more interesting and capture more attention. There's nothing at the bottom that allows you to contact her, no calls to action on the page. All right, and so with the redesign, she created a navigation bar at the top. She did big headline, grabbing attention, telling what she does, with a button to call to action, adding some color to the page. As I said, summing up what she's doing in like 3 boxes, adding the company's logos, nicer attention-grabbing images that are changing from one to the second one, details of each of the projects that she worked on. So obviously, and a kind of a button or bottom kind of footer section. Now, I think this is overall a good redesign. I do think if I could give Stephanie one feedback on her redesign in terms of the color scheme, while it looks good here, actually the orange on purple, I find it, specifically here, you can actually see it. It's not really contrasted. And I think really also the drop shadow on these lines, I never understand why you actually need this drop shadow. So I think color choices, and even here, like purple on the blue, the colors doesn't always work together. And so sometimes a lot of portfolio like to keep the color either monochromatic or minimal just so that the works can shine here. And I do like it here at the top, but maybe at the bottom, I don't think that the color was always working well, the combinations. Also, I do feel like this is kind of a huge in terms of the social icon. But overall, very good design, Stephanie redesign. All right, let's jump into the next one. This one is from Katherine. Katherine also didn't redesign her own portfolio. She redesigned the portfolio of Karen, who is a UX designer. And that's her original website. As you can see, jumps straight into the projects and quite boring. I mean, in a sense of it's just a grid with images. There's really no context here to who Karen is, and like why is she different? What is she doing? Let's jump into the redesign. So this is the redesign. Looks way better. We got an image of her. We have a very solid color scheme. I mean, it's just single color, monochromatic, but it works well, and it's kind of repeating, and it helps you to drive attention. Explaining how she gets results and what is she doing. Jumping straight into client testimonials, always a smart thing to generate trust and credibility. And then showing the project. So this is still the grid, but it does feel way more cohesive. They're all kind of like the same color and basically the same template, and then ending with a contact form. So I do think this is a very, very solid redesign. Let's see how Katherine was thinking about the before and after. So first of all, as she mentioned, she hasn't used an image, so I don't get a sense of who she is. And I do agree, that's always a feedback that I give. No unique selling proposition or calls to action. You definitely need to add something. And the images are not consistent, sometimes cut off, sometimes do not portray the project well. So yeah, I do think this is a good redesign. Let's see how she explained these decisions. Clear headline, quick info link with hire me, logos of company that she worked with, image of her to create trust, and the images, again, are directed with the same colors. So I do think this is a really good redesign. I would say, though, that I think that while this is consistent, I do think that it gets boring after a while. And also, it makes the work itself very, very small. So there's a lot of white space and a lot of attention goes to the device, but it's actually very hard to see the work itself. So I would try to think, how can you actually showcase the work and give more attention to it while creating consistency? But other than that, Katherine, really good work. All right, the next one is the website of Lucie, and Lucie actually redesigned her own website. So this was her original website, designer based in Montreal, and then you scroll down, and basically very similar. It's just a grid of the projects on a white background. So this is what she had, quite templatey, I would say, in a sense. Very small, kind of like an icon here. Let's see the redesign. So this is the redesign, way more impactful. Hey, it's Lucie. I'm a designer based in Montreal. And then you have here the button, get in touch, with some nice animation. And then selected projects. Oh, and as you hover, you get this fancy and interaction here. This is actually an Adobe XD prototype, but I really like that you can now do like a pretty fancy hover interaction. Services with this nice gradient overlay, manifesto. I do really love this this redesign. I love the use of gradient, these abstract Apple-like, it feels like Apple-like style of gradients, and I love that. I do think that it's way, way, way more interesting and has way more personality than the original one. Let's see Lucie's thinking process around it. So Hero was super empty, underwhelming. The logo was very small and hard to identify and read. Also, it wasn't really centered. There wasn't a clear call to action, actually lacking personality. And I agree that it was kind of empty to begin with. But this new thing, I really try to put some thoughts into this portfolio. The main concept is to create a design that feels modern, airy and colorful. I really try to keep the design as consistent and focus on giving clarity. Illustration became kind of like outline when scaled down, and then she put it here. I do think one thing that is kind of weird, I do agree that it works well as outline, but then when the actual, usually a logo comes, it just says Montreal and just gives you the date and a time, which I do feel is kind of like weird use of this most important place in the website, because we start reading from top left. So this is actually the first thing I learn when I get into the website is the date and the time, which is not really why I'm visiting this website. So I don't think that we need this here as the first thing that people look into. If you want to keep this, I would perhaps put it in a less prominent position. But other than that, I do agree that services are a lot clearer. I really like the use of color here. I think it's using multiple colors is definitely not easy, and this is well done, the use of these gradients. The whole design feels more happy and a bit more edgy, so the personality is stronger. I love this, Lucie. Really, really great work. All right, the next redesign we have is from Jack. So Jack, notice this is his old website. It doesn't actually even say Jack unless I look at the URL here at the top. I help environmental entrepreneurs make purposeful driven decision. It has this hover effect here, book a free call, and then you can go down and you have image with some text, image with some text. Yeah, it's quite simple, quite a simple website. Also not really consistent in terms of alignment and these kind of things. All right, let's see Jack, bam. The new redesign, brand identity design for eco-conscious businesses. All right, that looks way, way, way more professional. I love the big type, the kind of like parallaxing image in the background, always strong image with strong type. I love it. Helping you bridge the gap between concept and execution. I love the feeling of scrolling through this. Much more interesting layout. I love the use of type and animation here. Expertise. Here I don't understand if I need to click on these things or it's just because nothing happens when I try and click them. And then we get into the portfolio. Background changes, kind of puts you in the focus for the actual portfolio. I love this, kind of zooms you into this. And then you move on into testimonials and ending in contact. So I do think this is way more powerful than the original one, and I really, really like this. Let's see how Jack was thinking about this. Color scheme was uninspiring and dull, wanted to have more creativity and flair. Menu is way too large. I think this black and white photo is a bit of lifeless, and it looked like I died. This is an old photo of me. Yeah, I mean, just look how bright and happy this is versus this one. I mean, the color really brings it in. This website doesn't utilize full desktop. I was keen on using more interesting font than Futura, although I do love Futura. It's my favorite font. Feels too serious for my personality. I love it. I love that he was thinking about this. Although, I'm looking at this and I can see this is a pretty cool layout with, the text going over the image. However, here, it happens only when I scroll. So I do think, I don't know if this is because of my screen size. Nope. I think the implementation in code of this didn't really pull up to what Jack was actually trying to do, because I like this design with the overlay more than it starts just like sitting on top of the image. I think this actually looks better. I feel like this website is more friendly and more balanced. Yeah, I do think so. Let's check out the menu. Oh, the menu is not clickable yet. All right, well done, Jack. All right, and now for the finale, for the winner of the Redesign Portfolio Challenge. This is the original website of Dang. He is a designer from Vietnam. So this was his original designer, a little bit kind of like all over the place. Then you see his work. And then you scroll down to see a bit more work. So a lot of things going on, a lot of color, big images. This was the gradients. It's a little bit all over the place. So now let's check out the winning redesign. And bam, this is it. Actually, let me reload this. I think maybe there's like, like a nice interaction here. Everything is actually moving when you move, but check out this. Very cool. Helping tech companies build better products. And when you hover over this, he kind of comes on top of the text. I really, really love this. This really creates the feeling of 3D on top of all of the moving balls here. I really, really love this. So great combination of 3D together with image, together with interactions, together with good typography. Scroll down, my work has been featured. Hi, I'm Dang. Hanoi-based product designer. Note, remember we talked about black and white images, but then you hover over it, you get a blast of color. And the background is black, allowing the works themselves to actually shine and bring the color into this design. Now, very big images. Remember how we talked earlier? How can we showcase the work with a lot of space but still make them consistent? Here, Dang does this amazingly. It's very big, the thumbnail for the project. The background is always solid, so there's consistency in there and the color scheme is consistent, but there's a lot. You can really see the design because they're like almost full screen, so you can really see this. And I really love the combination here of, serif font with sans serif font. I think this really, really looks fantastic. So I love everything here. I love the layout. I love the typography here. I love the use of interaction. So, Dang, congrats, my friend. This is a fantastic, fantastic redesign. You're the winner of this month's Flux Student Challenge. We'll be sending you the AirPods Pro. Thank you everybody for participating. We've got some amazing entries. We'll try to link below this video the links to the Figma file so you can see the before and after if you want to dive more into that. And if you want to learn more about our design and web design programs, make sure to check the link below this video, and we'll see you on the next video. Bye-bye.